Welcome back live from Boys State here on News Channel Nebraska. That's Brandon Axelman. I'm Eric McKay. Fans filing out. Fremont fans happier than the Norfolk fans because they won 55-47. Good win for the Tigers, and congrats to the Norfolk Panthers on another great season, qualifying for state 7 of the last 8 seasons. But Brandon, we move on to Class D1, and who would have thought that there would be all these Class D1 games and no one would have any room to watch them? It's a good thing we had cameras at these games because no one could get in.
And you said it, the whole town of Walt Hill came to, was it Northeast or was it East? It was East.
They were at East, yeah.
Lincoln East. The whole place packed at the Spartan Arena as they are following their team. Like we've already talked about, communities rally around these small schools. It's the pride and joy, as it should be, and they're coming down to support their boys here in Lincoln.
That they are. It is hard to fill Lincoln East Gym. That's a giant gymnasium. Walt Hill found a way to do it today. They took on Axtell in their semifinal matchup. Our own Jay Hanna was the man on the scene with the camera and the microphone. He's talking into it. Let's watch the highlights.
There were no seats left once the ball tipped between number 4 Walt Hill and number 5 Axtell, and the Blue Jays used their fans and high-powered offense to advance in the Class D1 state tournament. Thanks to 16 points from Casey Porter, including 4 threes, the Blue Jays held a 16-point halftime lead.
It's awesome. It shows us how much people love us around here.
Porter would finish with 21 points, and DeAndre Webster would finish with 17. But Axtell would make their run. They cut the lead down to as little as 10 points entering the fourth quarter. Head coach Ryan Stansberry was confident in his team, however, and they pulled out the victory, coming out on top, 75-56.
Great. Like you said, besides the lull, but every team has that one game. I mean, you get that somewhere. Ours just came towards the end of third, start of fourth. Other than that, it was fantastic effort. Great defense, and I think that's what does it for most of us is defense. Anytime we can get steals, turnovers, block shots, rebounds, it allows us to push the ball faster than you can out of a made shot, and that's where we score the most.
The Blue Jays will move on to play the winner of top-seeded BDS and number 8 Archbishop Bergen on Friday at 9 a.m. It will be at the Devaney Sports Center. This was the 16th win in the last 17 games for Walt Hill. Reporting in Lincoln, I'm Jay Hanna, News Channel Nebraska.
You know, Walt Hill came here as the 4 seed. They lost 3 games, but look at those losses. They're to 1 seeds. They lost twice to Winnebago and to Meade. Other than that, they're 22-0, and those wins aren't wins. I mean, they're demoralizing teams. They're victories by like 30, 40 points. So this Walt Hill team is about as dangerous a 4 seed as they come. They showed it today. The fans came down. It felt like a home game, and at 75 points, nothing to sneeze at. This offense, a very similar style to what Winnebago likes to play. And Walt Hill, man, I'm glad they're down here. I'm glad people are getting a chance to see them because they are about as exciting a basketball team as you're going to find.
And that contest against Winnebago was 11-point deficit, so nearly almost a single-digit contest when you're thinking of a team that outclasses you in specifications of enrollment numbers alone. Just speaking of the game that they play, and they will be playing BDS. That is the team that did get the victory, and you think they got the dark horse potential?
I absolutely do. I think that might be the game of the tournament in D1 when they see BDS tomorrow. BDS had Bergen today. Bruning Davenport Shickley has been fantastic all year long. They've been beating teams by rather large margins as well, earned that 1 seed. And today they had an Archbishop Bergen team that surprised a lot of folks by making it to state 11-13. At one point they were just 5-10 on the year, but they were able to get to state and actually put up a pretty good fight against BDS. Jay Hanna has the highlights.
It was a Riley Tigmeyer show at Lincoln East High School as his 35 points lifted top-seeded BDS over Archbishop Bergen 52-35. That included 7 3-pointers, with 5 coming in the first quarter alone.
We did it really good. We needed to come out on fire. We needed to come out hot. And, obviously I had a pretty good game shooting, but the most important thing on the game today was defensively. I mean, this whole week in practice, we scrimmaged with 6 guys to try to simulate their speed a little bit, and I think it really paid off today. We were able to keep guys from cutting, keep them from getting open, and, defense is what won us that game today.
Their defense held the Knights to only 23 points through the first 3 quarters. Coach Fred Cluck and the Eagles are headed to the state semifinals for the 2nd year in a row.
Well, I thought we stepped up and did what we needed to do. That Bergen team is a better team. They had some injuries during the year, and a better team than the record shows. and they have a kind of a funny defense that you have to adjust to. So I thought our kids handled that really well.
The Knights finished their season with a losing record at 11-14, but Coach Doug Moore thinks they'll be back in Lincoln sooner than later.
It was a great atmosphere today, and I hope they enjoyed it because it was fun. There's a lot of teams that would like to be in our place, and it was just a fun group of guys to work with, especially our seniors. They led the team throughout, everybody together when we were going through some regular season. So they're going to be missed, but I think we have a bright future ahead of us.
BDS will see Walt Hill on Friday at 9 a.m. It will take place at the Devaney Sports Center. Reporting in Lincoln, I'm Jay Hanna, News Channel, Nebraska.
So there you go, BDS versus Walt Hill, the 1-4 seed, tomorrow morning at the Bob Devaney Sports Center. But the other half of the bracket featured quite a few teams from the area as well, Brandon.
Yes, it did. High Plains, the actual defending Class D1 champs, actually got in from getting the 6th seed, a wild card, because they fell to Archbishop Bergen in that district championship, part of the surprise you talked about, and they're looking to repeat, and they had a test against Dundee County Stratton, 6th seed against number 3 seed. We're going to now check in with John Kipper, who has those details.
The defending D1 state champions are one step closer to a repeat. The High Plains Storm had no real trouble with the Dundee County Stratton Tigers in the first round of the state tournament, beating them 58-44. The team never felt in doubt for High Plains, who won the state tournament last season. Dundee County Stratton was not able to outscore High Plains in any of the games for quarters. The 6th-seeded Storm got a clutch performance out of Samuel Johnson as he scored 21 points for High Plains. Thomas Young was not far behind Johnson with 16 of his own. Tigers' Noah Kirkall scored 13 points, leading the way for Dundee County Stratton. Throughout much of the game, the Tigers pressed High Plains hard, forcing the Storm to make quick decisions with the ball. High Plains head coach Cameron Hudson was pleased with how they played a tough, physical Tiger press.
Well, we didn't turn it over, and that's what they needed, I thought, to have happen. And so we took care of it, and I just thought we put kids in the right places, and they executed.
High Plains will play the winner of Lord Central Catholic Kennesaw at 10:45 a.m. at the Bob Devaney Sports Center on Friday. Reporting in Lincoln for News Channel Nebraska, I'm John Kipper.
And so High Plains advances to the semifinals. Eric, looking at this team that is the defending state champs, they were 21-3. One of their losses came against Nebraska Christian. That's when they didn't have Samuel Johnson. He was sick, a Class C2 team. Then the other two losses, BDS, he's the number 1 team in Class D2, and also Archbishop Bergen. That's the one that surprised some people. 56-53 in that district final, but they look to be back in form and ready to advance to the semifinals, where they'll be playing the winner of this game, which also was by John, and that was Lord Central Catholic in Kennesaw, is Southeast Nebraska getting some love, the number 2 seed against the number 7 seed. So we're going to check back in with John to see just who will be playing High Plains.
Lord Central Catholic certainly did not have it easy in the packed and deafening gym at Lincoln East High School on Thursday afternoon. That being said, the Knights were able to get the 62-56 victory over the Kennesaw Blue Devils in the first round of the state tournament. The win gives the Lords their 23rd victory of the season, setting a school record. So the teams exchanged blows throughout the game, and with just under 2 minutes left, Lords only held a 52-51 lead. The Knights were able to make several clutch free throws late to ice the game. LCC went 21 for 28 from the free throw line in the game. The 2-seeded Knights were led by Hayden Miller with 19 points and a stellar 7 for 8 from the charity stripe. Julius Sakinis and Quentin Vasa both chipped in 11 points for Lord Central Catholic. Eisenberg led the charge for the Blue Devils as he went 4 for 9 from 3-point range. And he also scored 14 points for Kennesaw. Lord's head coach Joe Tynan says they did not play a perfect game, but good enough to advance to the next round.
For us to hold on and just to dig down deep, and also clutch. I haven't seen the stats yet, but we hit a lot of free throws tonight, which is something we haven't done all year. And I think just our free throw shooting and our ability to score, helped us, because defensively we weren't good enough today.
LCC will face High Plains Friday at the Bob Devaney Sports Center. Tip off is set for 10:45 a.m. Reporting in Lincoln for News Channel Nebraska, I'm John Kipper.
So there you see it, Lord Central Catholic advancing to the semifinals. Someone who knows a lot about them is Hunter Arterburn with B103 joining us on set again, back from the girls' state tournament. You're back. How you doing?
Doing great, Brandon. Having a lot of fun and off and running with the boys' tournament. It's hard to believe it's already postseason basketball time, but here we are. We finished up the girls' tournament. Now we have the boys' tournament going on, and first day already wrapped up.
And team in your coverage area is Lord Central Catholic, someone you know a lot about, a team seeing him in southeast Nebraska coming out of Nebraska City. We saw the highlights there, but for someone who's watching this who's not familiar maybe with Southeast Nebraska basketball, give us a little more insight about Lord Central Catholic and what you saw specifically today as you called the game.
Yeah, we're going to see this again tomorrow with High Plains. A lot of the teams are undersized with Lord Central Catholic, Sakinas and Vasa. You heard it, Julius Sakinas and Charlie Vasa, two of the taller guys in this class. Usually overmatch a couple of other teams. And we'll see with High Plains tomorrow as well with their guard offense. We saw it with Kennesaw and their guard offense. So that's kind of the main thing. They like to play that height game. They have that height to go against. And we see that a lot with Lord Central Catholic throughout the years.
21 through 28 charity stripe. Is that kind of par for the course for Lord Central Catholic, or were they playing better because, the state atmosphere and all that stuff?
Yeah, they were about 60% from the free throw line this season, so not the greatest percentage, but also not too bad. But today was great, especially 10 of 11 from the free throw line in the fourth quarter alone. Hayden Miller went 7 of 8 from the free throw line, scored 9 of his 19 points in the fourth quarter alone. That allowed the Knights to pull away in that game.
And Lord Central Catholic never made the state tournament program history. This is their 4th trip to the state in Class D1, and they have the chance if they get the win over High Plains. Both teams, High Plains and Lord Central Catholic, have been defeated by BDS twice from Lords and also once from High Plains. So, I can ask you to play predictor, fortune teller. What do you think? What do you think, or at least what does Lord Central Catholic need to do to get that victory over High Plains?
Yeah, that's going to be the thing. High Plains has that experience. They're defending state champions coming again against Lord Central Catholic. I think the biggest thing, and Jay and I talked about this in the broadcast, is going to be rebounding. When Lord Central Catholic was actually rebounding the ball well, they were able to pull away. Julius Sakinas really attacked the glass hard. We're able to rip down those rebounds defensively and really offensively, because there for a while there was a moment in the game where Kennesaw was really running the glass, and that was able to keep Kennesaw in the ball game. But then Lord Central Catholic was able to step up on the glass, catch back up, and then able to pull away in the end eventually. So I think it'll come down to rebounding, especially with High Plains and their all-guard offense.
Well, it's going to be a good one. 10:45 at the Bob Devaney Sports Center. That is coming up on Friday, of course, as the semifinals will be played. How can they hear you?
They can hear us on B103, 103.1 FM in southeast Nebraska. Everywhere else, B103.FM, also on the B103 app. Just search B-103 in the iTunes Store or Google Play Store.
There you go. That's Hunter Arterburn. Before we get him out of here, we're going to take a look at the rest of the D1 bracket. We just rehashed it to see how it is all shaking out as Friday is coming up just around the corner. So there it is. We talked about it. Waltz Hill getting the 75-56 victory over Axtell, and they will be playing BDS as they got the 52-35 win over Archbishop Bergen. That's on the first side of that D1 bracket. Of course, on the other side, High Plains, defending D1 champs, advance 58-44 over Dundee County Stratton, and Lord Central Catholic Nebraska City being represented. The chance for the Knights to make it to the final for the first time in program history. That contest at 10:45 a.m. on Friday. Going to be a good one, of course. All the teams vying to make it to that championship, which will be played at 9 a.m. on Saturday.